Well, I am so excited because today we are going to talk about need number 6, which is actually my favorite need. So, what we've been talking about the past few episodes has been about how humans have different needs that motivate them. So, this is different than the needs of like food, water, and shelter. Those are needs that you need in order to like survive. But what we're really talking about is how to motivate yourself. I mean, to me, that's the biggest opportunity this year. Is that it's not motivation's not coming as easily to us as it may have a few years ago. We don't really have the weekends to hang out with our friends to look forward to every single weekend. We don't even have hugs to look forward to anymore. We have to motivate ourselves. And if you understand what motivates you, then you're able to actually create the life that you want and the future that you want. So, what I want to do today is, first of all, to introduce you to the need for number 6, which is contribution. And contribution to me is a really special need because it's not something that you can do just on your own. Like, you can't just contribute to yourself and like be like, oh, I contributed to myself. Because contribution starts with the word con, which really means with. So to contribute is a need that you can only fill with somebody else. Some of the other needs you can do on your own. You can be significant on your own. You can, do a lot of the other aspects on your own. You can have a life full of uncertainty on your own. But you can't contribute just to yourself because that's not contribution. Contribution is making a difference to somebody else. Recently this week, I knew somebody who was dealing with a few things from a breakup. And what he really, made a difference for him was sharing his experiences from the breakup, from dating with another friend that was dealing with the same experience. And that's just a small way that we can contribute to somebody else. Contribution can be anywhere, to really empower that need, to contribute in a powerful way. You can, volunteer. You can share verbally your story or your experience with somebody else. There's so many ways, especially right now, to contribute. Sometimes it's just calling somebody, an elderly person that's by themselves that doesn't have anybody to talk to, that just needs somebody to talk to. There's so many opportunities to contribute. And for me, when you're dealing with depression, that's what makes the difference. Because the second that you stop putting the focus on you and instead you put the focus on somebody else, that's when you're able to actually shift yourself. Because once you finish with the volunteering and then you leave that place, you realize that what you're dealing with is really not that big of a deal and that you're making difference to other people. But the only way you really can make a difference to others is if you make sure your needs are met first. So, as a recap, the 6 human needs that make a difference to people, you want to look at which ones you've been operating from before and the kind of life it's given you. And then when you want to look at what needs do I want to stand in now? If tomorrow was the first day of the rest of your life, which needs do you want to focus your energy on time on? Do you want to focus on contribution? Do you want to focus on significance? Which of the 6 needs do you really feel passionate about now that we've spent all these weeks discussing it? Because that's why I chose to have this as a topic. It wasn't to feed you random information. It's for you to really see what needs motivated your life up until now, and does that give you the life that you want? So need number 1 is certainty. What do you do for certainty that empowers you, and what do you do for certainty that really disempowers you and leaves you stuck and has you feel like you can't, walk down a different street or try a different meal? That's really disempowering. You might do it to get the need filled, but is it really powerful? Number 2, of course, was uncertainty, which a lot of us are uncertain right now. But what do we do to have ourselves be even more uncertain? Can you put a schedule in place? Can you put a routine in place? Can you do something so that you're, creating a need for certainty? What about love and connection? How can you further that need in a way that is powerful and inspires you and makes you feel good, instead of sitting there being like, oh yeah, I talked to this guy last night, he texted me at, midnight, and I hung out with him. That's not really empowering. You might feel your need for love and connection. You might feel connected, but you're not really getting to your full soul. What about significance? What do you do just to feel special and different and unique but you're just doing it, just getting that tattoo just so you feel special. And then, of course, we have growth and contribution, which are my favorite ones, because you really need to have some of the other ones before you can have growth and contribution. But for example, right now, for a while, I wasn't really focusing on the growth part. What I'm really focusing on now is the contribution, because the growth is still a lot about me. I'm focusing on the contribution, and I'm focusing on embracing uncertainty and actually liking the idea of different things happening during the day and not getting frustrated if my day doesn't go exactly as planned. So my top 2 needs I'll share with you all are uncertainty. And I know it's like, how does she need uncertainty when, she's, living a life in the middle of a pandemic? But really just the embracing of that uncertainty and setting myself up powerfully with that. Love and connection in a way that empowers me. Not that I just connect just so I can be with somebody, but really love and connection with the right person. And of course, contribution, which is what I love most. So take a few minutes, jot them down, write down which of the 6 you feel you are really wanting to focus on in the future. I'll include them in a little summary after so you can remember. And then start living a different life that's focusing on the needs that you want to fill, not the needs that you've been feeling since you were a little kid and something happened to you and you felt like that was something you had to be significant or you had to focus on growth all the time. And if you weren't growing, then you just were depressed. Really look at what needs are important to you. And next week we'll have a new topic, so please do tune in. But just think today about contribution and what is something small that you can do to contribute to another person. Because that, in the end, is what life is meant to be lived for. I would love for you to check out the website again, SuzanneRenee.com. The book is coming out probably in another 2 months, so I'm super excited about that. You can subscribe to find out more information as soon as that book comes out a little bit closer. And, of course, please keep watching the videos. We'll have them every week, and you can have an opportunity to think about your life and think about what inspires you. And I like to say the what beyond your how. A lot of times we figure out how we're going to do things. We don't always think about the why and the why we want to do those things. We just do them on autopilot. We do them because our parents told us to do them. We told them because, we have to do that to pay the rent. Really think about why you're doing things. And think today, for this week, think about contribution and think about what else can you do to make a difference to other people. Because feeling that need to contribute just takes you out of all the funk you might have been in lately and the frustration with our world and politics and everything like that. Really take the time and focus on contribution. That's what I would like to ask of you today.